What's up YouTube? For today's video, we've got something a little bit different. We are going to be doing an explanation video on the Typeless Type Pokemon. Now, this is a very unique type, pardon the pun, but it's something I'm actually really interested in, and I thought I'd do a different style of video. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be explaining about it. I'm going to be explaining about some strategies involved using it, and some general thoughts, and maybe some theories as well, depending on how the video goes. I know this is a little bit different to what I usually do, but if you do enjoy this new style of video, I could definitely do some more of these along with all my other usual content, and I'd really appreciate any feedback you got. And without further ado, let's get into it. As an introductory here, people, you know there's 18 different Pokemon types out there, right? However, there's actually 19 if you include Typeless. So I guess you could say it's a pseudo-type, or whatever you want to justify it as. So I'm going to give some information about types to start things off. Now, this is one of the main things that sets it apart from all the types, which is its no weaknesses or resistances. So that is very, very interesting because none of the other types out there, they do not have no weaknesses and no resistances. So they're all weak to one thing and they all resist like other things like that, right? It's pretty interesting. So what I mean by that is, say, a water type move is used against a fire type move. Like, you know, your Squirtle goes for its water gun on the Charizard, one-shots it, right? That's going to be super effective against a fire type. However, if you've got a fairy type attacking a fire type, say you got your +6 belly drum Slurpuff up, ready to sweep. If you use that against a fire type, right, it's going to be resisted. So it doesn't have any of those rules applying to it at all, which I guess you could deem as very overpowered in a sense because it's got no weaknesses. Also, it actually only deals neutral damage to everything too. So there's a typeless type and there's typeless moves too. So if you've got a typeless Pokemon with typeless moves, you got something pretty interesting there. So what I mean by neutral, if you guys don't understand what that is, just for some more casual players or newer players or just interested in the topic, it doesn't have anything like, say you use a typeless move against a normal Pokemon, right? It's going to be neutral. There's no resistance at all. So against all 18 types, it's going to do the same sort of damage. There's going to be no super effective and nothing is going to resist that. Now, I think that's pretty strong. Also, another thing to note about Typeless too, it sometimes can be used for like a placeholder for a type that hasn't actually been revealed. So an example would be Sylveon when it was listed as a Typeless, before Pokemon X and Y, and then later it was revealed as a Fairy type. So it has been used as a placeholder in the past too. That pretty much sums up a brief explanation of the Typeless type. So let's get into why Typeless actually happens and its first appearances in the games. In Generation 2, people, Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, right, the move Curse was actually given the Typeless type. Now, Typeless type can actually be displayed as 3 question marks in like an aqua green box. That's usually how it was. You may have noticed it back then, or you may have just found out about it later. Regardless of that fact, the move Curse actually affects Pokemon types differently, specifically Ghost types, right? So Ghost type, when you use the move Curse, you actually sacrifice half of your health and you put a curse on the opponent. I also remember when I played the games as a kid, like a little sort of like devil would actually appear behind the Pokemon on the opposing screen and deal a quarter damage to your health every single time. Now, obviously, you could swap out of the curse, but if you did stay in, the curse would eventually KO your Pokemon. Now, this is very different for all the other Pokemon types, right? Because if you use curse on them, you actually get a buff by one stage in attack and defense, and you'll also get a negative in speed, right? So they are vastly different kind of effects of the move Curse, and that is definitely why I think they gave it the question mark Typeless type. Now, an interesting thing as well about Curse, Curse actually changed its type to Ghost in Gen 5 onwards. I think they did this because I think they just wanted to get rid of Typeless altogether, and Ghost obviously had the most unique effect. And Curse, let's face it, Curse sounds like a Ghost type move, so I think that is why they actually did that. Now, another thing too, in Generation 3, Pokemon eggs on the display screen for their stats, right, would have the 3 question marks as well. I guess this is sort of like indicating that the identity of the Pokemon was unknown, unlike the Sylveon from X and Y being revealed as a Fairy type later onwards. Also, this changed from Gen 4 onwards as well. So usually they sort of like to phase out Typeless. I really did actually notice that along the generations. Anyway, so I've talked a little bit of information about when Typeless type and Typeless moves did appear. Let's go on to the Typeless type in actual Pokemon battle situation typeless Pokemon moves, or actually Pokemon moves that are typeless, changing you into a typeless type. By the end of this video, guys, I'm going to be sick of saying typeless type. Let's talk about some moves that actually can make you typeless or are typeless in their damage calculation. So one of the most notorious, annoying, crappy moves is Struggle. I'm sure you guys have all seen Struggle before, or you've used it in your Pokemon adventure over the time. So pretty much Struggle is a typeless Pokemon move. It deals a quarter damage to you every time using it, and it's only got 50 base power, and obviously it's neutral to all resistances and types, so using it. Now, if you want to do Struggle, you probably don't really want to do Struggle, but if you do, this is achieved from actually running out of all PP on your moves, not that sort of PP. Say if you got 8 PP on a move, you use it all, and then you start using Struggle, you're like, damn, this move sucks. So it does like a quarter base like damage to you every single time. Now, another way to achieve it is by attaching an Assault Vest to yourself, which only allows you to use attacking moves. So if you teach your Pokemon like just one or all status moves, you start using Struggle right away. We'll have to note, people, I have done a Struggle only Pokemon suite, which I'll put up on the screen if you want to check that one out after the video. It is a very, very interesting watch, and some really cool, amazing strategy is used there. Now, so we've explained Struggle. Let's go over another move which actually changes your type into typeless, and that move is Burn Up. Now, let me explain the move Burn Up. I actually did a typeless Pokemon team video a couple of days ago, so I did show some of these strategies in there. If you haven't checked that out, you should. I'll probably put that up on the screen somewhere too. Now, if you are only a purifying type, so if that means like an Arcanine, a Typhlosion, so not something that shares another type, you have to only be the fire type. So if you use Burn Up, it'll actually turn you into a typeless type Pokemon, which is super unique and cool. So obviously you won't have any weaknesses in that such, and you won't be able to use the move Burn Up after doing that, because you'll be a typer. So it'll only work if you're a pure fire type. Did I say fighting? I meant fire. God dang it, people. Anyway, so that's pretty cool with using that strategy. Now, after using Burn Up, I mentioned you will actually be typeless using it, so it will fail again. Another move with the typeless, or something surrounding the typeless type, is the move Roost. So say if you had a flying type on you, like a Moltres, right? Moltres is fire and flying, and if you use Roost, it would actually get rid of your flying type and make you a pure fire type. So you could essentially do it that way. The only problem with using Roost is it only lasts for the end of that turn, so you're not going to be typeless for very long, or try and do a strategy. Now, another unique thing I want to mention too is in Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. Now, under the Shadow Aura, by using the Shadow Sky move, you can actually use the move Weather Ball. Now, Weather Ball is a cool move. It sort of like depends on what the weather is. You know, with the name Weather Ball, you'd probably expect that. So, like, you know, you use Weather Ball in the sunshine, and it turns into a fire type move, doubles in base power, that sort of thing. You get the idea. Now, under this actual circumstances of the Shadow Sky, it will actually become a typeless move, which is really cool, and of course it doubles its base power too. Now, also, if a Pokemon under those conditions has the move Color Change, like Kecleon for example, and is hit with this move, it actually changes its typing back into normal, so it's so weird. Like, Typeless has so many interesting things about it. Now, I also want to cover, lastly, a little bit of trivia about Typeless, and maybe a couple little like misconceptions about Typeless too, so we'll get onto that right now. Let's go over a little bit of trivia surrounding the typeless type. Now, we got Arceus. As you guys know, Arceus has a multi-type ability which changes its type and appearances depending on whatever plate it's holding, right? Now, by means of hacking, so Hacker Exposed people, you can actually hack a typeless Arceus into the game, a typeless Arceus sprite to be more specific. Now, this exists in Pokemon Pearl, Diamond, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver. Now, the Arceus sprite actually has very similarities in the green that's used in like the display on the Generation 2 games over the status of eggs and stuff. So I'm not sure if that was done on purpose, but I don't know. It seems like a little bit more of a coincidence to me. Now, there's no typeless type plate in the games either. That does not exist, only the sprite. It cannot be legitimately used ever. So I thought I'd just, introduce some of that information. It's pretty cool about Arceus. It'll be actually really cool if you could use typeless judgments. That'd be like super broken, like typeless unresisted judgments. That's absolutely crazy to me. All right, so another thing that I want to cover, that I've covered a little bit in this video already, but Struggle, right? Struggle appears as a normal type move, but it does do typeless damage, and it does not grant stab. So obviously there's a little bit of misconception about that move, where the typeless moves grant stab. They do not. Now, hidden power is also another interesting thing. So hidden power, the only types of moves which hidden power doesn't do are hidden power normal and hidden power typeless. They actually are displayed sometimes as the hidden power normal or typeless. So just another little bit of trivia there. Now, typeless moves like struggle also can bypass abilities like Wonder Guard. So say if you struggle against a Shedinja, it would body that Shedinja, right? So no little sweep today for Shedinja. Now, another cool thing is the move conversion. Now, this move cannot be used to become typeless. Example, say if you used it on Curse, and you tried to become, that typeless type, it would just essentially change you into a ghost type. So, sorry guys, you can't get typeless that way. Now, in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, it was actually classed as a normal type move, but then it was actually changed into a ghost type move in Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. Now, another thing too, you can actually make the move Revelation Dance typeless by using Orikoro, which is really cool. The thing I like about this is, in comparison to Struggle, you can use this move over and over again, and you don't take like the big recall damage like you do with Struggle. Now, something I did a little test to, the move Synchronize, which is a psychic type move, is actually only works when the opponent and yourself share the same type. Usually it's better to use this with dual type Pokemon. Synchronize actually works with the typeless type. So I did a test on Showdown. Basically what I was doing here, I used 2 Arcanines on each side of the screen, and I both gave them Synchronize and Burn Up. I just gave one Morning Sun so I could get some healing off. So I used Synchronize first, and then obviously it worked against each other. And then when I turned one of them into a typeless type, it failed. But then when I used Burn Up to change it into a typeless type, it worked on both the Pokemon. So that was really cool. That's probably about all the trivia I've got for this subject. It's a pretty interesting subject, and I'm sure there's a lot of other cool little interesting things I could have included. If you think I've missed something out, or you think something's really cool, please leave it in the comment section. I'd love to actually hear some of your thoughts. I want to do a final little conclusion about the typeless type, and that'll pretty much wrap up this video. So summing up the typeless type, pretty much how I see it is it's a very unique, exciting type of gimmick. I really like gimmicks in games, but personally I feel like it's slowly being pushed out of the Pokemon games as they go along. Usually because it caused a lot of unbalanced and unique situations which, the game probably didn't really want to have in the first place. And mostly it's a useless type that really doesn't do a heck of a lot. Now, I do have hopes that typeless will be in the future of the games. We may even get some more moves like Burn Up, and we've still got Struggle and Burn Up and things like that. But I really do hope they do introduce some more typeless moves into the game, or ways of turning yourself typeless. Now, I would actually love, I don't know, for me personally, I'd love typeless to be an official type. It'd actually be quite interesting, a type that's just neutral to everything. I know we've got normal type already, but I think it could add something a little bit interesting to the game. What do you guys think? I hope you really enjoyed this video. I know it's a new style of video, but if you did enjoy it and you want to see more of this video type, pardon the pun, drop a like on the video and a comment, and that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night. I'll be back with a theme team and stuff probably tomorrow or the next day. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Peace out, people.